Right now at 6, the search continues for the person who shined a laser pointer into the eyes of a med-flight pilot. Madison's Common Council will look a little different next year as another member decides not to seek re-election. And we'll go live to New York. Badgers getting ready for tomorrow's Pinstripe Bowl.
This is News 3 at 6.
Thanks for joining us. The Columbia County Sheriff's Office is investigating after a laser pointer was aimed at a UW Med-Flight helicopter yesterday. Rose Schmidt is here to explain what we know. Rose?
Well, the Med-Flight crew is stressing the seriousness of this incident. It is a federal crime to point a laser at an aircraft. Crew members reported that a laser pointer was following the Med-Flight yesterday near Partyville. The helicopter was responding to a 17-year-old boy injured in a UTV crash around 5 p.m. yesterday in the town of Scott. Weather issues caused the helicopter to be rerouted to Partyville. After that laser was pointed, the crew had to return back to Madison without the patient. A UW Med-Flight doctor says shining a laser pointer can cause permanent eye damage. The pilot had to be checked out at the hospital, but is okay now.
By far the biggest concern to the crew themselves wasn't so much themselves, it was the fact that they weren't able to go where they were called to go. So that is a big concern as well. And so that can sometimes have consequences.
A deputy also had to be taken to the hospital after he was injured in the leg while going door to door trying to find the person responsible for shining that laser. And anyone with information is asked to call Crime Stoppers, and we will put the number up on your screen there.
All right, Rose Schmidt reporting on Rose. Thank you. The Sauk County Sheriff's Office looking for a missing 9-year-old boy, Mason Burdick, was placed in the custody of his grandparents who live in Sauk County. On Sunday, his grandparents agreed to let his mother, Julia Burdick, take him for a short visit. She lives in Florida. Officials believe Julia left the state with her son. The Sauk County Sheriff's Office has issued a warrant for her arrest. The state FBI is assisting here. Anyone with information should call the Sauk County Sheriff's Office. The number on your screen, 608-365-4895. Wisconsin State Patrol responding to a crash on the interstate right now. This is near Lake Delton, a semi on fire, blocking the right westbound lane of I-90. The Wisconsin State Patrol tells us the truck and 2 other vehicles are involved here. Gary Canalti will have an update on traffic in that area in just a few moments. Madison police are looking for 2 teens accused of robbing a man. Happened about midnight near Warner Park. The man left a relative's home to walk to a gas station. That's when suspects pointed a gun at him. They say they got away with some cash. Anyone with information should call police or Madison area Crime Stoppers. We'll see a lot of turnover on the Common Council next year in Madison. Amy Reed shows us where the change is happening.
There will be quite a few fresh faces filling the chairs here next year as 8 alders choose not to try to renew their terms here in the council chambers. Walks with the dog are a good part of Alan Arnson's retirement. After he left his firm, they became a mainstay, and now they might get a little boost again as soon as his other job ends.
I said I wasn't going to, so I'm not.
Arnson has served as District 13's alder for a few months, but he's not running for re-election next year, just as he indicated when he first took the job.
It's been a rewarding experience. It seems like I would enjoy being on the council longer, but I said I wasn't going to.
He's one of 8 alders leaving after their current term, which is higher than average, according to numbers crunched by the administrator over the council.
When you have a large turnover, it does affect the group dynamic to some extent. They bring in new perspectives, new ideas, and so that's always a welcome change.
Alder Arnson said it's a coincidence. Each one has their own reason for wanting to remove their nameplate from council. For District 3, it's moving out of the area. District 12 said he's served long enough. And District 10 is running for mayor, which, if getting 8 new people up to speed wasn't enough, brings about another change facing the new council, the potential of a new mayor. Soon-to-be former Alder Arnson said this is all going to take some getting used to for him, the council, and the people in Madison.
If you're interested in city politics, the next year is going to be a pretty fascinating time.
The deadline to pull out already passed last Friday, so we shouldn't see any more alders deciding not to run for re-election. But if you want to throw your name into the mix, you have until January 2nd to do so. In the Common Council chambers, Amy Reed, WISC News 3.
And for a full list of the alders leaving, just visit our website, channel3000.com. Rain and snow possible tonight. Let's check in with Chief Meteorologist Gary Canalti. Gary?
Yeah, it could be some slippery travel north of Madison for a time this evening. If you're traveling farther to the north, that's where the more pressing concerns are. Northern third of Wisconsin, there's a winter weather advisory for some freezing rain and snow. Winter storm warnings in effect for extreme northwestern Wisconsin, much of the northwestern half of Minnesota, and blizzard warnings are in effect farther to the west into parts of the Dakotas. We have an alert day in the forecast for tonight, mainly for some snow, maybe a little bit of light freezing rain north of Madison for this evening, but that will change over to all rain by tomorrow morning, and hopefully by that time the road should be in pretty good shape. So look at Doppler track, you can see a mixture of snow and rain heading for southwestern Wisconsin. You can see exactly where that rain snow line is, and that continues to lift northward with time. So initially might see a mixture of rain and snow here in Madison, but that will change over to rain later tonight. Low temperatures this morning started out mild in the middle 20s. High temperatures today right around 40 degrees here in Madison, just shy of that at 39, but Boscobel was 42, Prairie du Chien at 40, as well as Milwaukee. And current temperatures are above freezing for much of southern Wisconsin, although notice around the Dells, temperatures are right around freezing. That's where there could be some slippery road surfaces. By tomorrow morning, temperatures should already be in the upper 30s. Precipitation will be changing over to rain. Could even see an isolated thunderstorm during the day tomorrow. Our high of 48, very close to the record high of 50 set back in 2003. I do have a first alert traffic update, as we mentioned earlier in the newscast. That's the live view from the DOT camera at I-90-94 near the Sauk-Columbia County line. Traffic right now down to one lane because of that truck fire near mile marker 101. If you're heading northbound on I-39-90-94, get off at I-39, take that to Wisconsin 16 and then over to the Dells, or you can get off at Highway 33, take that through Baraboo and then go northward on Highway 12. If you're coming out of the Madison area, just use US 12 and go through Sauk City. You're probably better off going that direction than taking the interstate. That's your first alert traffic.
All right, Gary, thank you. Janesville street crews plan to change the way they treat winter roads next year. They're exploring new options besides salt. Adam Duxter joins us from our bureau at the Janesville Gazette with some of the things city leaders are considering here. Adam?
Well, Eric, it's a trend that more and more cities are continuing to turn towards, and in 2019, Janesville will join them and turn away from traditional rock salt and look for other ways to winterize the roads. Making it through a Wisconsin winter takes plenty of work, patience, and of course, salt. More than 500,000 tons of salt per year, says the DOT. However, that could change for cities like Janesville.
We're trying to get away from the amount of rock salt that we're putting on.
From this year to next, the price of rock salt is expected to jump 24%, meaning an increase of close to $15 per ton, which means the more it snows, the more the city pays.
It all kind of depends on what we see. If we get a lot of snow events or freezing rain or icing, we'll be in a lot more and it'll cost more money.
Which has Janesville looking at other options, including salt brine and other agricultural byproducts. Operations Superintendent Cameron Nash says these will be better on the budget and also better on the environment.
There's going to be less chlorides that go into the stormwater system, less that are in our rivers, less material that bounces up on the terrace and can create issues with grass growth and with plants. Overall, the goal is to reduce the amount of chlorides that we're overall putting out into our stormwater system and onto the streets.
So far, Nash says the city has benefited from the dry winter, but as things pick up weather-wise, she says the importance of this change will be clear.
No one wants, any bad things to happen to our waterways and to our stormwater system. So, we all should care about what we're putting down on the streets.
And Nash says in the future that brine and agricultural byproduct could even be made on site in Janesville. Right now, those are shipped and delivered from the county of Jefferson and Beloit.
All right, Adam, thank you. Dozens of animals died during a barn fire early this morning in Shawano County. 30 cows, 6 horses, cats, dogs, and chickens died. Firefighters still trying to determine the cause, but do not think it was suspicious. Law enforcement agencies around the state are participating in a holiday version of the Drive Sober or Get Pulled Over campaign. More patrols out on the roads. Officials are also asking to report any impaired drivers. The campaign runs through January 1st. Madison Metro and the Tavern League of Wisconsin making sure you have a safe ride home on New Year's Eve, offering free bus rides starting at 7 p.m. Buses will follow their regular schedules with services extended until 3:30 in the morning on New Year's morning. You can find a link to route details on our website. Here's something to consider for New Year's Day. The DNR doing its first day hikes this year. These hikes will be offered at 17 state properties. Some of the walks will be guided. It's the 8th year Wisconsin has participated in the nationwide First Day Hikes campaign. Here's something the Badger football team will remember from its time in New York. That's right. The team got to help ring the opening bell at the Stock Exchange this morning. The team in New York City ahead of tomorrow's Pinstripe Bowl game against Miami. It'll be played at Yankee Stadium tomorrow evening. Our very own Melissa Kim, photojournalist Brian Mesmer out there to cover the game. How's your first day out east, Melissa?
Oh, it's lovely, Eric, minus the travel hiccups that we had to get here. But we're here at Times Square right now, actually. They're already setting up for the ball drop on New Year's Eve here next week. And I saw a couple of the guys on the team. They were actually here earlier this week as well, checking out the sights and sounds of New York and Times Square as well. And they had some pretty good tour guides. There are a couple guys on this roster that are from this New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area. Jonathan Taylor from New Jersey, and of course starting quarterback Jack Cohn. He is from Long Island. And they actually got a chance to show, like I said, the guys on the team their favorite sights and sounds around the city. We'll have more on those hometown guys and more on the matchup tomorrow later on in sports. Eric?
All right, Melissa, great time of the year to be in New York. Thank you very much. We'll catch up with you later. Ahead at 6, a smart solution using a smartphone. I'll tell you the help farmers are getting in the fight against a plant disease. That's next on News 3 at 6. Farmers are getting help fighting plant disease thanks to an app by UW researchers. It compares current weather to historic data about conditions that cause plant disease so it can calculate whether it makes sense to spray fungicide. For example, warm, humid conditions help grow plant fungi, so that might be the time to spray. It's being used on golf courses in Wisconsin where fungicide spraying can be expensive if it's not needed. Researchers are hoping to expand that app later this year. The Lodi Public Library back open. It was closed earlier this month for mold damage found during a remodeling project. A professional mold removal team was hired to address the issue. They say the most recent air quality tests have come back clean. Milwaukee County Zoo offering free admission through the holidays. This is the zoo's Frosty-free week. Admission is the only thing that's free. You'll still need to pay for parking and anything you buy while you're inside. The zoo is open from 9:30 until 2:30 today through Friday, and then 9:30 to 4:30 over the weekend. And the zoo lights display at Henry Vila Zoo in Madison will run through the rest of the week through the 30th between 5:30 and 9 p.m., resuming tonight after a short break for Christmas. Admission just $7, but kids under 3 can get in for free. We're expecting snow, some light freezing rain tonight. That means things could get a little slippery, particularly if you're heading north. Gary with the details next, our first alert forecast. Well, it certainly wasn't hard to find a Breakfast with Santa event to go to this month, but there was one gathering in Fort Atkinson that got a lot of attention. At Busy Barnes Adventure Farm, not only were Santa and Mrs. Claus there, but so was the Grinch and about 700 people, but they weren't there for the food or to tell Santa what they wanted for Christmas.
She's been here at Busy Barnes working with us for 5 or 6 years, and so we've gotten to know her that way, but she also has, like I said, many friends and family here. We are doing it to help her financially, obviously, but it's also for moral support, so we love the crowd today.
And tonight, in a special Do Something Good story, we'll share Leslie's story and why these friends, family, and perfect strangers insisted on attending this particular breakfast. It is a story of hope, strength, and support, only on News 3 at 10. Well, as we mentioned, Gary, watching for the possibility of some mixed precipitation and how it might affect our travel. Gary?
Yeah, it's areas north of Madison, I think, where the most concern is, and it'll be mainly for this evening. I think later on tonight, we'll see a switch over to just all rain across much of our viewing area. So if you're traveling to the north, some snow and freezing rain is possible. There could even be an inch or two of snow accumulation north of the Dells, but that will all change to rain by morning. So we do have an alert day in the forecast for tonight. Current temperatures tell the story. Here in Madison, we're at 36. To the south, temperatures are in the upper 30s. But the farther north you go, notice those temperatures closer to the freezing mark up around the Dells, Camp Douglas, over toward Viroqua. So as the precipitation moves into that area, it could be in the form of some light snow or freezing rain. Farther to the south, it's more likely going to be in the form of rain. Even though we show a mixture of rain and snow here, it's possible you can have snow mixed in with the rain with temperatures in the mid to upper 30s. It just isn't going to stick to the ground, and the roads will just be wet. With time, notice that rain-snow line lifting northward. You can see mainly rain across southern Iowa. There could even be a couple of thunderstorms mixed in here by tomorrow as the storm system heads to the north. Now, as the air stays much colder in the northern portion of the Midwest, there could be a mixture of some snow and freezing rain over the northern third of Wisconsin from about Wausau northward. Winter weather advisories in effect there. And then farther to the west, you can see winter storm warnings in effect for much of the northwestern half of Minnesota, north and west of the Twin Cities, up into the Duluth Superior area. Even blizzard warnings in effect for parts of North and South Dakota. Snowfall amounts, according to the GFS computer model, perhaps up to a foot over parts of western Minnesota and anywhere between about 6 and 10 inches up toward the Duluth Superior area. There also could be some heavier lake effect snows right on the south shore of Lake Superior. European computer model, just a tad less with the snowfall amounts up there. But even notice down here, just very little in the way of snowfall, and that will be mainly for Friday, late Friday afternoon into Friday night. There could be some minor snow accumulations on the backside of the storm as precipitation changes from rain back to some light snow. Live view from the Edgewater Skycam in downtown Madison. Pretty quiet here, no precipitation in the Madison area yet. Low this morning, 25. That's almost where our average high temperature is. High today, 39, and right now we're at 36 with cloudy skies, winds out of the east at 9 miles per hour. Temperatures below freezing in the northern half of the state, above freezing from about the Dells southward. Temperatures are in the 40s through Iowa. These temperatures will rise overnight because southwesterly winds will continue to pull moist air northward. You can see a lot of rain, severe thunderstorms over parts of Texas, and then as the storm system, which is actually back in the Texas Panhandle, heads northeastward, it'll draw these warm fronts northward. So temperatures that are in the 40s and 50s to the south will make it this far north. I don't think we'll hit the 50-degree mark, but the record high for tomorrow is 50. Could be very close to that by tomorrow afternoon. 34 for the overnight low temperature, with that wintry mix changing over to rain by morning for all areas as temperatures climb through the 30s. Tomorrow's high of 48, again just shy of the record high of 50. We'll see rain and maybe even a couple of thunderstorms. On future track, you can see that mixed precipitation heading northward by morning. We're all seeing rain with temperatures in the upper 30s. We're in the upper 40s for tomorrow with rain, perhaps a few thunderstorms, showers tomorrow night. And then on the backside of the storm, notice the precipitation changing over to some light snow with maybe some minor accumulations. As far as snowfall amounts are concerned, could be looking at an inch or so, mainly north of the Dells tonight. Rainfall amounts, though, up to an inch through the day on Friday. 7 to 10 day forecast. Those temperatures turn colder in the wake of the storm. Only in the mid-20s Saturday, low 30s on Sunday. Could see a few flurries right around midnight on New Year's Eve night. Otherwise, look for colder temperatures for the early part of next week.
The Badger football team gets an up-close look at Yankee Stadium as the Pinstripe Bowl is now just 22 hours away. We'll go live to New York to hear from Melissa Kim in sports.
Hello, I'm Jamie Perez. Tonight on the news at 9, after free Christmas meals ran out for those in need, a local chef steps up to make sure everyone has something to eat. That's tonight on Fox 47.
The Pinstripe Bowl is tomorrow afternoon. Wisconsin and Miami play at Yankee Stadium at 4:15 p.m. Today, the Badgers had a walkthrough at the stadium. Imagine walking out of that dugout and playing football in one of the most famous baseball venues of them all. A Badger tradition also continued today. Seniors switched jerseys with their teammates, and those seniors were carried off the field at the end of practice on the shoulders of their teammates. We sent Melissa Kim to cover the game in New York, and after a 2-hour flight delay in Madison and a cab crash in New York earlier today, we're relieved to say she made it to Times Square. Good evening, Melissa.
Hi there, Jay. Yes, I'm alive and well, breathing. Happy to be here, of course. Now, we did learn one thing about Miami today, though. We learned that Malik Rozier will start at quarterback for the Hurricanes against the Badgers. Now, he has a 53.5 completion percentage, has also 6 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. Now, as for the Badgers, this is going to be a particularly special and memorable game for the guys from the tri-state area on this team. That's what the locals here call the New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut area. Now, among them, Jonathan Taylor. He's from Salem, New Jersey, just a short 2.5-hour drive from Yankee Stadium. So he is definitely hoping for a little home crowd advantage.
The closest game we had so far was Penn State, so I had a lot of people at the Penn State game. So this being another close game, it's another opportunity to have people that didn't get a chance to come to the Penn State game to come and watch me play, and some who haven't seen me play in person at all that I know. So it's going to be a real fun time for me. I took a lot of guys to Times Square. I had a blast. Really enjoyed seeing those guys' faces once they got down there, looking at all the lights and all the sights, all the people out there. So it was a real fun experience, just watching the other guys enjoy it.
How cool is that, getting to show your friends and teammates all the cool things you saw when you were growing up? Anyways, every single player got 6 tickets each for this bowl game for their friends and family. Jonathan Taylor, because he's a local, managed to scrounge up 26 of them. And if you think that's a lot, Jack Cohn, the quarterback that will be starting tomorrow for the Badgers, he's from Long Island. That's about an hour away from here. He got 48 tickets, Jay, for all of his friends and family. So expect to see a lot of Jack Cohn fans at Yankee Stadium tomorrow.
Yeah, that ought to do it. That's Melissa Kim live in Times Square tonight. Thanks, Melissa. The Packers placed defensive lineman Kenny Clark on injured reserve today. The Packers play their final game of the season Sunday when they face the Detroit Lions at Lambeau Field at noon. Of course, the Packers are coming off an overtime win at the New York Jets Sunday, their first road win of the season. Devontae Adams said that win made for an interesting flight home.
It was beautiful. It was funny because EQ mentioned something to me. He's like, "What do we do on the plane after we win?" And I was like, "What? Like, what do you mean?" He's like, "It's our first road win." And I thought about it. I was like, "Wow, they haven't actually felt the, that togetherness and happiness of being on the plane after an NFL road win in the league." So it was good to be able to get that for those guys, and obviously it boosted the morale of the team on the way back. So it was a good feeling.
And earlier we showed you the Badger football team helped ring the opening bell at the New York Stock Exchange, and now the rest of the story. Well,
where'd the video go, guys?
The market shot up 1,000 points today. So Alex Hornibrook, Paul Christ, TJ Edwards, Alec Ingold, Ryan Connolly, Dakota Dixon, thank you for making the market go.
They helped a lot of retirement accounts. They need to have them back tomorrow again. Final check. You're keeping an eye on this precipitation overnight.
Yeah, tomorrow will be warm in the upper 40s with some rain, maybe some thunderstorms, and then maybe some flurries about the time New Year rolls around.
All right, we'll have another update tonight on News 3 at 10. Thanks for joining us. Have a good one.